We have tea. We have a fairy. We have paint. We have journals. And of course, we have stitching. Welcome to Helen Kitty Cat Crafts. Well, hello guys. How are you? I hope you've all had a great week. So today I'm going to start building a conservatory for my chateau. I think this is part 4. Okay, so it actually worked out more economical to kit bash. Kit bashing is when you take a kit and basically smash it up to make it how you want it. Just kind of ignore the instructions. So, to actually buy all the things to make a conservatory for the house was more expensive than actually buying this cheap kit that was on offer. Yeah, we don't need instructions. So I'm going to use it as the basis, and then all the other bits I'll keep because they're going to come in for something else, because I often do miniatures and dolls' houses and things like that, so nothing will ever get wasted. But for the time being, I'm just interested in putting the actual frame together, because that's what I bought it for. So we need to make sure that we get all the right bits and put them all in the right order. Now, I've done a few of these kits before, and they're not always the easiest to understand, and they don't always go together as they should, and sometimes they're a little bit confusing. So we'll give it a whirl, and I'll try and follow the instructions partly, just so that I get the basic construction right, because I don't want it falling apart. We don't want 3 little pigs here. We want it to remain standing. The first thing is it's brown, and I don't want it brown, I want it white. So I guess the first job would be to paint all the wood white. Yes, I know, I could have bought one with white wood, but it was twice the price of this one, and I've already got paint, so, you know, it's just a few more hours, isn't it, out of the day. So, in typical form, it doesn't actually say which bit needs to go on what. It gives you lots of instructions on how to make pretty paper flowers, but doesn't actually tell you which bit is supposed to support the base. So, I think a lot of the time I'm just going to be making it up as I go along, and that's fine, because that's probably what I intended to do anyway. So, let's have a look. Excuse me. Okay, now I know from past experience that the acetate on these kits are basically a pain in the bum because they are terrible for they're marking. You get a bit of glue on them and it just stains. You get a bit of paint and it just stains. And it's not just me. I've heard lots of people complain about the same thing. It's the acetate that is a pain in the bum. I'm going to use this super glue. I've not used it before for a kit like this, but it's supposed to dry clear and it's got a very fine nozzle on it, which is what I want. So I'm going to give it a go. The last kit I made, I think I used Beacon 3-in-1, which is good, but I do find that Beacon 3-in-1, although I absolutely do love the glue, tends to go a bit stringy. So I've chosen not to use it this time. So we'll give this other stuff a go. So anyway, that's the box if anybody's interested, and these are the main bits I think I'm going to need. So I'm going to use the odds and ends that I've got lying at the bottom of acrylic tubes and paint them all white. And we'll see what happens. Let's get cracking. It's going to take me a while. Yep. There's something very satisfying about squeezing and popping that paint out. I always make sure I get every last drop. I've got my coffee. Let's go. Well, I think we'll start on the door. Or at least, I hope it's the door. Okay. Not quite in full view there. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I think the camera has got very different ideas about what it should be doing. But you get the general gist. So I'm going to be painting all this with white acrylic, and by the looks of this, it's going to need at least 2 coats. At least. Sometime later, and here we go. So, apart from obviously the mess, I don't think it's turned out too bad. So we'll started putting it together, and I'm actually quite pleased with the size. I think it'll be okay. The light. Oh gosh, here's the governor. He's come to check it all out. Yeah, the light. I spent a long time fitting the light and trying to get it to work, and I very stupidly left it on the table overnight, and one of my cats chewed the cable in half. So the light doesn't work. But hey ho, I'll leave it in there for decor. And this is after I've put it all together, and I decided I didn't necessarily think that it looked finished to me. So I happen to have a plastic beaker full of coffee stirrers, and I am going to use these to give it a more finished appearance. And then of course it's a case of putting it next to the house, and I want to put a tower extending up from the back of it, just to give it a little bit more presence. It won't have a function as such, but it'll just look great. I may even put a little garden in front. So anyway, I think I'll leave you with a little bit of music, and or maybe not actually. I might just cut the video shorter. No, I'll put you a little bit of music on, because you can always put it on silent if you don't want to listen to it. So until next time, guys, thanks ever so much for stopping by, and make sure you take care now. Thanks for coming. Goodbye.